Assalamu alaikum, grade 10s. We're going on to a dishonoured check. Okay, so we're still under the heading General Journal, and today we're doing dishonoured check. So what I want you to do first is to revise over your video of dishonoured checks to understand what is a dishonoured check and how do we get a dishonoured check and what entries we do for it. If you search it on the channel, you'll find the heading dishonoured checks, right? So you need to remember that information to carry on to do the General Journal, but I will go through the entries again here, right? So what we're doing is in the General Journal, remember, if somebody comes and pays us with a dishonoured check, it means they've paid it and we made the entries, and then this check is told us that it's a RT check, it's returned to the drawer, and it's a dishonoured check, so the check gets cancelled out. So we're cancelling the payment, but we also have to cancel the discount if we gave the debtor any discount. So what happens is the debtor came to you, he paid you, and then you've given him a discount, so we've recorded a discount as well. And then we have to cancel the discount. So I'm going to show you the accounting entries now, right? So you have to distinguish between a trade discount and a discount to the debtor. A trade discount is when the transaction occurs. So means on the invoice, when they come to you and you tell them today you're getting because you're paying maybe sometimes people come to you and you say if you pay cash you get a discount, so you give them a discount on the transaction. So at the time when you're making the invoice, you've given a discount, right? Now a discount to a debtor is different from a trade discount. It means that it decreases the amount that they are owing you. So for instance, if they are owing you 500 Rand and you give them 30 days to pay, remember we've done a whole video on that as well. If you give them 30 days to pay and they pay within the 30 days and you give them a discount, then that is a discount to a debtor. So it's different from a trade discount. There's two types of discount. So I've written here, please revise over your video on your dishonoured check, right? So let's go through this example now. Here we have a dishonoured check, right? So we've got S. Smith, who's a debtor. He came to ZZ Traders. So we're going to go through the example on ZZ Traders again, right? He's come and he sent a check for 380 Rand. Right, so look at the value of the check, and he was only owing 400 Rand. So what is it telling you? That you've given him, it's silently telling you that you've given him 20 Rand discount. Okay, so what you've done is that we've debited bank with 380 Rand. That was the payment that came in. We got a check came in. What was it for? The debtor was paying us. So we credited the debtor, right? Remember the debtor is owing you 400 Rand here. So his account will have 400 Rand, right? So now he came and he paid you. So we debited our bank with 380 and we credited our debtor with 380. And then the 20 Rand, we're going to debit discount allowed and we're going to credit the debtor. Okay, so this is where we're getting the check coming into the business and where he's paid us the 380 Rand and we've given him a 20 Rand discount. Okay, so this one here would be your bank as your contra account, which is going to go into your CPJ because it's money received, and this one is going to be your discount allowed, and that's how his account gets written off. 380 cash came in, so you credit him with 380 cash, and 20 Rand was discount allowed. Remember, this one here is going to be an expense. Okay, so if you're finding this, you need to revise this, then you can go through the video on the dishonoured checks. Okay, but this is where the check came in, but we're not saying it's dishonoured. Now we need to say that the check got dishonoured. So what we're saying is that this 380 Rand that we received is not, we actually haven't got it. The bank didn't pay it to us, but we've already recorded it here. So what's our second part is, our second transaction is I need to cancel this part here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to credit my bank with the 380 Rand, which is going to go into the CPJ. Okay, these are all entries for dishonoured checks, so you can go back to your video and see that, right? So it's dishonoured checks. So this is, I'm crediting my bank with 380 Rand, and what am I debiting again? I'm debiting my debtor. with 380 Rand. So I'm making him owe me that 380 Rand again. So if you look at this account here, if I do it in here, what I've done is I've put 380 back there as a debit, and I've put 380 back here. So I've cancelled that amount off there, which has gone into my CRJ first. Sorry, this is a CRJ entry first, and then this is a CPJ entry, right? So now I've cancelled that payment that I received. I cancelled it off, that receipt there, I put it back into the CPJ, and I've reopened his account for 380 Rand. But look now, what has happened? He's owing me 400 Rand, not 380 Rand. So what do I need to do? I need to cancel the discount as well. So what I have to do is, sorry, I didn't keep enough space here. What I need to do is I need to cancel the discount. So how do I cancel the discount? I need to credit my discount allowed. I'm reversing the entry, so you need to learn this. And what am I going to debit? I'm going to debit my debtor. So he must again owe me 20 Rand. And I'm going to credit my discount allowed with 20 Rand. So can you see here what's going to happen? That gets cancelled off. So I've cancelled off this transaction here, and I've cancelled off that transaction there. I've taken it out of my books, and I've debited my debtor with 20 Rand. And now how much does he owe me now? He again owes me 400 Rand. So can you see? I've done the transactions now for bringing in the check when he pays us with the discount. And then the check got dishonored, so I cancelled it. So I debit my debtor and I credit my bank with the check amount, and then I debit my debtor and I credit my discount allowed with the discount amount. So you can learn these two transactions, and then you know how to do it. So then this transaction here, the first one is going into my CPJ for the bank, and this one here is going into my debtors journal. But the second transaction here is part of our general journal. That's why we're revising this now. So we're going to see now how we put it into the general journal. If you're finding this difficult and I've been through too fast through it, please go back to dishonoured checks, and you will see I've done it in bigger detail. If you understand it, then you'll be able to follow this here, and we have to put it into the general journal now. Okay, so you have to learn these 4 entries here. Okay, we're carrying on now, and what I've done is I've opened up your classroom, right? So we're in our stream at the moment. You click onto your classwork, and there you go on the 3rd row there, there's FET recovery work. You click on that document, and when it opens up, you're going to accounting. And I'm going to grade 10. Then remember here you go to accounting notes, and we're under general journal. Okay, so we're in general journal. We've done interest on overdue debtors and creditors, lesson 40. We are going back to lesson 41. Remember, we did lesson 41, we did drawings and donations, and now discount allowed is on a discount allowed on a dishonored check is here. So what we're doing is we're cancelling the discount on a dishonored check received, right? Okay, so you can read through this here to remember. That's what I've done in the beginning of the video. Now look at the example. So I've used the same one, right? Information in the books of ZZ Traders on the 28th of February. Received a bank debit note from the bank that states RD or insufficient funds. The check was received from S. Smith for 380 in settlement of his account of 400 on 5th of January. Show the transaction in the CPJ, in the general journal, in the general ledger, and the debtors ledger. So let's look at it. Okay, here's my T accounts. So the transaction first gets recorded as we're debiting our bank, and we credit our debtors control, and we debit our discount allowed, and we credit our debtors control. So this is when you got the check, when it was an RD, right? So what has happened in the cash receipts journal of ZZ, you can see on the 5th S. Smith, we wrote down we received 380 But we put 400 in the debtor's control account, and we put 20 Rand into the discount allowed, so that 400 Rand goes there. Okay, so we've done that before as well. Now the general ledger are your T accounts. So my bank, that's your opening balance. I've debited bank, credited debtors control. Now, okay, here now they've put it together. You can do it as two separate or one entry, doesn't matter, right? So I do it separately. So 380 and 380 for bank, and then I've debited my discount allowed of 20 Rand, and I've credited my debtor with 20 Rand, right? So this is receiving the check. Then your debtor's ledger, he owed us 400 Rand. Then we received from him 380, and we put through a discount of 20 Rand. So then that's why now his account got written off. So let's see now what happens when the transaction gets cancelled. Okay, so when the transaction gets cancelled, the step one is cancel the check in the cash payments journal. So we have a receipt there, remember, in our CRJ. Now we're going to our CPJ, and we put S Smith 380 in the bank column, and sundry account 380 in debtors control. Okay, right? Cancel the check in the cash payments journal. See, this has already been treated earlier in the year. We have done it as well. Okay, so we credited the bank with 380 Rand. And what do we go and debit? We debit the debtors control. Now we have to do the discount. Okay, so this is your bank account now. They forgot to write down the general ledger here, so this they're showing your general ledger, right? So here's your bank T account, and here's your balance brought down. Remember, we received 380 Rand. We put that into our receipts from our CRJ. Now we've credited the bank with the CPJ with 380 Rand. So we've got a debit and a credit. So we cancelled off the amount that we received by putting it into the CPJ. Now we must cancel the discount. Okay, so the first part is the payment.